Hey folks, welcome back to Game Geeks. I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Today's episode, we are doing a Kickstarter promotional video for Deadlands Hell on the High Plains. At the time of this filming, which is about 2:30 on Friday, there are 4 days left to go, and out of a $3,000 goal, they're only at about $137,000. So here's hoping they make it. You can make the difference. What you have here is a detailed look at one broad swath of the Weird West. What you've got is Dakota, which is a unified state, Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, Montana, and Wyoming. Each state gives you sort of its own focus, its own areas to go, people to see, varmints to fight, fear levels, and savage tales that goes with each one. Short adventures that you could merge into a larger plot point campaign or a larger campaign of your own, or just keep them wandering around the Weird West, wondering what in the heck is going on. There's a lot of excellent historical research in here, which goes to show that even with the weird, horrific, and fantastical world of Deadlands, there's nothing stranger than real history. And it ties in these real historical events, both good and bad, to the overall mythology of Deadlands, stretching from the Weird West, noir, Hell on Earth, which I have to admit I'm kind of stupid, because I saw Hell on the High Plains and I thought this was going to be a tie-in to Hell on Earth. I'm not very smart. Also, there is Lost Colony, which is the far future setting, and the upcoming Deadlands Dark Ages. I'm not sure if these are the only settings for Deadlands that we're going to see, but these are the current ones. Additionally, there are links to the Twilight Legion, which ties into some of their Weird West games as basically the good guys who are fighting the bad guys. All right, so focusing in on each state, you get a certain amount of information. For instance, I can't go into a lot of detail for each one. We don't have time for that in a video. But in Colorado, you have the option of mixing your beer with Ghost Rock, which, as you can imagine, does not end with hilarity. And Pueblo, Colorado, which when I was a kid, I heard the name a lot because I watched a lot of PBS, and they did a lot of free information mailings that were centered out of Pueblo, Colorado, for some odd reason. If any of the rest of you remember this that are my age, comment below so I don't think I'm completely going crazy. Dakota is one nation, and it is one state, and it is tied to the Sioux nations very closely. Probably my two favorites in here are Kansas, which has Dodge City at a fear level of 4, which is pretty damn brutal, and a Reverend McVicker, ha ha ha, who is a preacher type with very likely has strong ties into Deadlands Dark Ages. Also, cattle gloms, which if you grew up on a farm, you've had nightmares about this at one point or another anyway, so I invite you to take a look at that. It ties in very closely with the real problem of why Dodge City, well, not a problem, why Dodge City became important, and cattle diseases. Montana has the lowest fear level of any setting I've seen in any of the Deadlands, at a fear level of 1, which may be because Montana is an old native word for nobody lives here. My personal favorite of the bunch has to be Nebraska, because only in a Deadlands game can you have prehistoric, underground, submarine battles over ghost rock deposits and giant blind dinosaurs. Folks, I really like how Deadlands is embracing the weird and in the Weird West, and they're just sort of rolling with it. It's become kind of the gonzo setting of Savage Worlds. Again, this is a Kickstarter. The Kickstarter itself only has a few days left. If what you hear interests you, if you like an expansion for the Weird West, I highly recommend you take a look at this. I'm quite fond of it. Now, a couple of other notes. One, we have not been the best at keeping up with our email over the years. We've had some big breaks in there. We've had a couple different accounts that we use. So right now, what we are using is, as you can see below, gamegeeksrpg@gmail.com. Please, if you are a game designer, if you want us to look at something, if you have suggestions for a review, we'll keep as close an eye on that as we can. Anything more personal in terms of comments, why we like things, why we don't like things, use the comments in the YouTube video sections. I personally have been trying to keep up on answering those a lot better, including what is probably going to end up being my self-immolating aria on why I don't like anime. Sorry, but I don't. Finally, we have a sister show to this, Board Game Archaeology, which is also on YouTube and done by our producer, Rob, and his son. where they look at board games from the past that have all the pieces, how they played, etc. I've had several moments of, oh dear God, I remember that, watching this show myself. So if you're of a certain age, and I just turned 50 this year, so I'm of that age, you'll remember some of these fondly. For Game Geeks, I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Good day and good gaming.